Hey, and welcome to Indie Social. This is the podcast where I, Dylan Yeager,
and Michael Huntington
interview independent filmmakers. Our guests come to our show to share with you, the audience, how they started their filmmaking career. And maybe, just maybe, we get to learn a little bit more about them on a deeper and more personal level. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Indie Social.
Welcome to the show, Indie Social. I know you'll love our guest today, 'cause what we've got for sure will amaze. So take this time and put your stress aside and come with us. Don't be shy, just take a seat and enjoy the ride. Oh, we are Indie Social, yeah.
Our guest today is a director, writer, editor, and cinematographer out of Davenport, Iowa. He directed the film Dark Light and was the cinematographer for Low Self-esteem and No Reply. This amazingly talented filmmaker is on a film hiatus until the right project crosses his path. But ladies and gentlemen, he's been keeping incredibly busy, for he is not just a filmmaker. He's also a very successful scale model portrait photographer. The one, the only, Nick Busch.
I think from day one since we started the podcast, you were like definitely one of the first people I wanted to get on here.
Yeah, we kind of created a bucket list of filmmakers that we had to have on the show, and we almost got everybody but one or two people. We won't say any names in case they don't come on, but
right.
we're really good at manipulating people and making them feel bad for not coming on our show.
Right.
Right on.
So, yeah, man, let's just start off with how'd you get into doing everything you do? Did you start off with like wanting to pursue this creative field, like with videography, or was like photography your first passion?
No, it was actually videography. I've kind of we talked about this, Mike, but your audience obviously doesn't know that. But
Right.
I started with wedding videography. Actually, bought a Canon T3i probably about 6 years ago. Did a couple free weddings with my brother, and I just kind of went from there. Did it for about 4 or 5 years. Got kind of burnt out of that. But the end game for that was to pay for better video equipment so we can make short films and just kind of get the stuff that we needed. Because, you know, as everybody knows, equipment is insanely expensive.
Man.
For the average Joe, it just starts kind of getting out of control for cost wise.
Yeah. And what sucks with equipment is like, even when you buy something brand new, it becomes so outdated so quick. That's the curse with
I feel that way with like cell phones, dude. I just got the S10 and then the Note came out, and now I don't even want this piece of shit, you know, even though it's only not even a year old. And like video game consoles, you know, they have a PS5 coming out.
You can never catch up.
I'm not, you know, I luckily have you, Michael, for the film equipment.
Right.
I haven't had to invest in anything yet. I'm kind of like a little kid. I'm like, Michael, there's a new camera out. Can you get it?
Is it good?
Well, I think after we did about 7 or 8 weddings, I bought as you know, Mike, I sold you one of mine, but I bought 2 Canon C100s, and you know, I just did a ton of research on what cameras to buy. And even as old those cameras are, they still hold up like like a champ still to this day.
Yeah, they do. And like I just love the C100. Like I've been trying to like move on to different cameras, and it's always like I still use that C100 like for everything, man. Like I make short films. The C100 is always like the first thing I bring out instead of all the other stuff I have now. I just love the C100. So it's definitely like a great like pro cam, starter cam if you can afford it, for sure.
Yeah, the color palette and the color science behind whatever they did for that camera, like even I have a Canon 5D Mark IV. The video is not even close to as good as it is on my C100. Yeah, so you know, then I started making films, started doing it with my friends, like everybody else. You just make them with your friends, and but after my 4th or 5th year of doing wedding stuff, it kind of killed my passion for making things. I was just so burnt out of editing wedding videos. It just kind of it killed it all for me, unfortunately.
For you, was it like, did you hate shooting wedding videos or editing wedding videos more? Because for me, like, I don't mind shooting the wedding videos. Yeah. It's just like when it comes to editing it and syncing all the audio and like having to relive that day again after already spending 12 hours there, it's always such a nightmare for me, and I hate doing it, man. But
Yeah. That you're right. And that's the part I hated. I mean, it's pretty neat when you're editing the video and like the magic comes together. Like you just start
Right.
flowing, and like you get those grand big epic shots. The music swells, and like that's pretty fun when you kind of really nail those big moments in the wedding video. But I mean, it's just but getting to that point, it just sucks. Spending 30 hours trying to get to that point.
Right. And then like after time, it's just like every wedding to you almost like blends in. Like this year I've shot like almost close to 40 weddings, and it's just like it definitely feels more of a job than anything now that I've done so many of them.
Well, because it is a job, filmmaking in general is hard work. A lot of people, for me, like my friends and family, when I tell them I'm gonna go, I'm making a movie, I'm acting in a movie, and it's like, oh, you're just hanging out with your friends. I'm like, no, it's like 12 hours, and it feels like work. Yes, it's fun. I would rather be doing this than anything else, but it's work, and a lot of people on the outside don't quite understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's work. The filmmaking, it's fun. Like that's why we all do it. But yeah, I mean the joy of, I guess, in my eyes, is when it all comes together. Pretty close to how you envisioned, or better than how you envisioned it. And when it comes together, that's what makes it all worthwhile, in my opinion. Even weddings, movies, or whatever. But getting to that point, oh man, it can be, for me personally, it became a grind that I was not enjoying anymore. But yeah, I don't know.
So did you like kind of stop making short films the same time you stopped doing wedding videos as well?
Yes.
Were you just like tired of filming in general?
Yeah, well, it's the problem is the last year I did weddings, I did way more than I should have done, and like every night that's all I was doing was editing wedding videos, and it just, I don't know, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I don't want to look at another frame, I don't want to I don't want to sync music anymore, I don't want to do any of this anymore. But I mean, but if prior to that, the years and years I did make movies, I've worked with you guys on stuff before.
Definitely.
It's super fun, and it's seeing it all come together is great. So
how did you get into you were talking about how you got into like weddingography and all that stuff, but how did you get into actually making short films? Like,
well, we on my old job, the kid I worked with, like, he worked next to me on the line. He was a writer, and he actually went to college for English literature, and he wrote a bunch of stories, and me and him would talk about stuff all the time, and he was just like, yeah, I have all this stuff written, all these ideas. So me and him for like 6 months would go back and forth with like script ideas, and I was like, hey, if you write something, dude, I'll film it. Like, I got the equipment, I'll film it. And he's like, okay. So we kind of bounced ideas back and forth. Like, all right, I'll come back, in a month or whatever with something. He came back with a script. We filmed it. A lot of fun, tons of fun. He was all like, he was blown away. Like, this is so awesome, having one of my things actually come to life. And it just kind of went from there. And yeah.
So prior to weddings and filming short films and stuff like that, did you like go to school for any of it, or was it like all self-taught because you knew that like you had a passion for it?
Yeah, it's all self-taught. It was just watching, like, for my wedding stuff. I mean, and I keep talking about this wedding stuff. I think it translates into making short films as well.
Mm-hmm,
like when I want to learn how to do this, even correlates with my photography stuff. When I want to learn how to do something, like I watch, like, the guys I admire and I respect tremendously in the industry, like the best of the best. I'll watch their stuff, and I'll watch it over and over and over again and try to figure out how they did certain things. It's not like I'm trying to copy them. I'm just trying to figure out what works in their videos that's so appealing to, like, I'll watch one of the wedding videos. Like, I don't know these people, but like, they blow me away. You're just like, holy shit, this looks absolutely amazing. It's almost making me cry watching these wedding videos, and I don't even know these people.
Yeah.
And so you just try to figure out, like, how do they do, like, where are they timing the the swelling of the music? How are they timing this, that? And the same thing with watching movies. Like, how did let's just say Requiem for a Dream by Darren Aronofsky, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch that movie, is like, through the whole movie, he's building tension of suspense of the, of the mind, like, watching these people break down. And I've watched that movie a million times, just trying to figure out how he did it and like the beats he hit in that movie. And you just try to kind of, I don't say copy that, but you just try to use that as inspiration for your next project. And that's kind of like what I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely with like weddings, it's helped me become more of a cinematographer, I'd say as well. Just trying to make every wedding video different that I do, you know, trying to get different angles and stuff. Because like when I go back and look at my older weddings, I can definitely see like how unconfident I was in like trying to get like these beautiful shots and everything. And it definitely like lets you learn how to do like transitions and stuff, because like transitioning from different scenes on a wedding day is like hard to do sometimes. So I think wedding films really is a great place to start when you're trying to like make money or trying to learn filming, because I mean, everyone's getting married, man. You can always find you can find something.
Michael, for you, like he was saying, like he had some like inspiration for his on how his like cinematography and stuff. Do you have any inspiration?
I don't know, man. I'm in the same boat with Nick. Like if I want to learn something, I'll do research. A lot of the people I started following when I was starting was like, you know, Film Riot or Indie Mogul or stuff like that. Like those guys are like complete heroes in my book, because they've taught me pretty much everything I've know how to do now without having to like, you know, pay money to go to film school.
I'm not a cinematographer, but for my acting, I watch like a lot of interviews and films of my favorite actors, Johnny Depp, Jared Leto, Jake Gyllenhaal, to name a few. But I just want to make something clear. Yes, I admire and love Johnny Depp. No, I don't purposely try looking like him. My facial hair grows this way. That's all I can grow.
You're a secret love child.
My glasses maybe are the only thing inspired purposely by Johnny Depp. But no. I mean, I think it's genetics, man. I don't know who my real father is. It's very well could be Johnny Depp. I'm not sure.
Be, man. It could be. So moving forward, after you quit doing filming and quit doing short films for a little while, I've noticed you've been doing more photography work. Were you always doing photography while you were doing weddings, or did you just like get like this crazy passion to start doing like what you do now with I'm gonna butcher it, what is the scale
model portrait photography.
Like
yeah.
Is there any inspiration behind that? Did you follow anyone that was kind of doing that, or?
Yeah, kind of. To start it off, like what I did is I needed thumbnails for people's their DVD on their wedding, so I bought a DSLR, and that's how my Canon T3i, and I would take pictures. I would take pictures there at the wedding, and I realized I was like, hey, you know, some of these pictures actually look pretty good. So then I upgraded my camera to a Canon 7D Mark II, and I was taking an action. Then people started asking me, hey, can you photograph my wedding? I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but sure, why not? So I did that. Then I started following. There's a guy named Felix Hernandez who doesn't do what I do, but he's like a toy photographer. But his stuff is, I watched. He made one of these behind the scenes videos, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is the most craziest looking. He took this toy car and made it look absolutely real, like it looked like a real photo. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was this. I didn't even know this was a thing. So I tried it and it kind of looked okay. And I was like, well, maybe I can make this better. And, you know, you guys have followed me on Facebook. I started, you know, just every photo just gets a little better. You kind of learn couple new tricks.
So the first thing that I saw that you did was, it was like that, like Mustang in the snow, I think. And like you're standing in front of it. Was that your first attempt at trying it?
Yes. That was my first attempt at compositing myself into the photo.
Okay.
I tried toy photography before that, but that was the first time I tried putting myself in the picture. And
then like once you figured out that you could kind of do it with like yourself, you wanted to like start getting models and stuff like that, and like costume designing and everything.
Yes, exactly. I was like, you know, like when I did it, I was like, you know, it didn't look perfect, but I was like, you know what? There's something to. I was like, there is definitely something here that I can. You know, if it looks this decent on my first try, I know I can make this better. Then that's when I tried. You know, I think I did one with my kid, like with a little truck.
Yeah.
And then that's when I bought a couple molds for the Yellow Brick Road. I made those bricks, and I asked one of my friends from high school, her daughter, to play Dorothy, and I did the Wizard of Oz one, and that one went, I don't know if I want to say, I mean, I'm viral, I guess. It made the front page of Reddit.
Oh, dude,
so,
you've definitely have been in a couple of like viral situations. To bring it back to that snow one, doesn't that have like close to 1 million views now, right?
Over 1 million views, yeah.
Yeah. So does that kind of suck for you, knowing that like the work that you're putting out now is like so much like more badass, like, or
Kind of. It was there. Like this is something I always have to think about. It's like, why do people like one thing I do? Why do some things not get as much traction as other things? And that particular one, I think I don't know why that one got so many views, because there's like a lot of mistakes in it.
yeah,
But,
I mean, because like I would like read through the comments, man, and like some of those guys are such assholes to you, like that was your first attempt at doing it, and they're like giving you shit for like putting the shadow wrong or whatever.
No, it's it's jealousy. That's all it is, dude. Nick, you are absolutely amazing at what you do, and I wish I could do what you do.
I don't know. I don't want to say it's jealousy. I mean, the right, like the shadow is wrong on it, and but the reason is because when I did that particular picture, my mind was the shadow's going to come from the moon, and not, because when I originally made it, I wasn't going to have those headlights on.
Okay.
But it doesn't really matter. The shadows are wrong.
Right.
So I mean, they're right. But I mean, I don't know. That shit just rolls off I don't even care when people are negative.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you're so far past that now, man. So I mean, it's definitely something that was in the past that like, we all have to like make these small mistakes for us to improve anyway. So
and plus like the negativity, I mean, it bothers me to an extent, but it doesn't really bother. It never has bothered me, because when people, there's usually some truth to what people are saying, even when they're being extremely negative. So it's like you just have to take that and just use it as a learning.
People are like different, like they do it in different levels. Some people can like do a constructive criticism, and other people are just like, dude, your shit sucks, So
yeah.
And that's the YouTube comment section for you. Very toxic people sometimes, man.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't really care.
So I want to talk about the Wizard of Oz one, which is like literally mind blowing to me, man. I think it's such a beautiful piece of work. Did that end up going viral at all?
Well, yeah, in a way. It, I put it up in Reddit on r/movies, and it made the front page. And that was kind of like the start. That's when I put that up, and I put it up on Facebook, the photography Facebook group, and it got like, I think at the time when I put it up, and that was the what am I trying to say? The Photoshop Facebook photography group is a massive group. It's super huge, and I think when I put it up, I think one of the guys told me that runs it was the most liked photo ever in that group.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, it had like 4,200 likes or something at the time. There's since then there's been photos that's beaten it, but at the time it was yeah. So yeah, it kind of went, I guess, viral. I guess, I mean, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. So how? So describe that feeling when you're, something that you put blood, sweat, and tears into went viral. Kind of walk us through that moment.
Yeah,
dude.
and the thing to note, man, is like, didn't you place each individual brick on that road?
Yeah. I cast.
Insane,
it took me about a week to cast all those little, like they're little. They're scaled at 1/35. They're super tiny. They're like about as big as a peanut. And I made 1,300 of them, and I had to glue them down one by one. And if to your listeners, it's the best way to. It's hard to describe this without seeing it. You have to see it. So if your listeners can see it, it's a lot easier to visualize. Yeah,
we'll link in the description so people can check it out for sure.
But yeah, okay. So I put what I did was I finished it. I showed the girl. I was like, "Hey, you like this?" And she's like, "Oh, absolutely love it." Well, I showed her mom. The girl's like 6, so I showed her mom.
Right.
But yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's great." So I put it up on Reddit, and I instantly put it up on the Facebook group. Okay. When I put it up on I put it up on Reddit, and about an hour later, I was like, I want to see how people respond to this. Then about an hour, there was about 150 likes. 2 hours, there was about 500 likes. 3 hours, there's all of a sudden it just starts skyrocketing. Then I put it up on the Facebook group, and I'm talking instantaneously. The second I put it up, my screen just went bananas with likes. Like my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. It just kept vibrating.
You had to buy a new phone.
Yeah, and I'm looking at my screen, and just like the little notification boxes are going in absolutely crazy. And I don't know how to describe it. It's pretty crazy. Like you're just like,
Well,
holy shit.
before
Yeah,
you uploaded it, like, did you have like any like criticism to yourself, like, ah, man, people aren't gonna like this, or were you like pretty confident that this was going to blow up the way it did?
no, because there's mistakes in the photo, and some of my I it's that's the first time I ever did a what is it, a focus stacking, and there's some blurred lines in the photo, like on some of the trees. Like if you look real closely, you can see it, and that's the part. And it's like anything, when you put something online, like if you can see the mistake, people online are going to see the mistake, and that's what I was afraid of. I was like, I want to put this up, I don't know, but like I thought to myself, I was like, man, this looks pretty awesome, and but I thought people were gonna like it. I just didn't realize people were gonna like it as much as they did. But when I put it up, yeah, it was crazy, and I got, yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the end, nothing really comes of it other than you just get like a lot of cool notifications that like people really like it, but it's not like I'm really making money off of it. But as far as
Right.
like recognition and exposure, it definitely helped my exposure and get the ball. It got the ball rolling on, and like now I have an audience, and that kickstart that off for me.
Yeah,
So,
and then so after The Wizard of Oz, you worked on another really cool piece, the Alice in Wonderland one, man.
yep,
I want
directly
to
after
talk
that.
about that one, dude, because like that one, like to me, is even better. Like, did that get the same attention though?
No, it did pretty well. It didn't quite make. I put it back up on Reddit. It didn't quite make the front page, but it made it did well though. It got like 18,000 likes or something. Um,
So are you like at this point, are you like trying to chase that of like trying to maintain like a certain like ratio, or are you still just like making stuff to make it, or are you still trying to like get like this the viralness out of it, or
you, I mean, I make stuff for me. Number one, like I don't. Okay, let's see.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I kind of pre-thought about some of the stuff I want to talk about. Money for me is not a motivator. Like, it's like probably about fifth on my motivation list.
Right.
So like if I don't make any money, I don't care. Um, I make the stuff directly for me. I make it for my friends and family who want to see it. If people want prints on the walls, that's great. Like I'm very generous when people are like, hey, I want the digital file because I want to make a print. I'm like, I don't care, you can have it. So I'm never really, I don't know. The photography group community is, I don't know, it's pretty crazy. Like people want to be paid for absolutely everything. Like they almost seems like people want to be paid for the ground they walk on, and that's not my motivation at all. But
Right.
but I do have goals I want to hit with my photography since I've started. Um, there,
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about some of those goals. Like, do you like what's the future of like your projects? Do you just like are you trying to just make them more massive and just like continue this
sure,
just the constant improvement?
yeah. Let's back it up for a second. I think this if people who listen and who want to, I guess, go further, and this isn't me being full of myself. I'm just saying, like I've continued to hit every single goal I've set for myself,
Hmm.
and it comes in. You don't want to have the goal of swinging for the fences right out the gate with anything that you do, because you're going to probably miss and be very disappointed and get discouraged and just give up. And when I first started, my goal was in my photography Facebook group was to get 1,000 likes on a photo. I was like, when I hit that, that's what I want to do. And well, I hit it obviously with my car, the snowy car one, the one that we were
Hmm.
talking about earlier with me in the car in the snow. I
Yeah.
got 1,700 likes. Boom! I hit my goal. Right. My next goal was to have something go I guess, viral. I wanted something, I guess, maybe the next level of exposure, and I hit it with my Wizard of Oz, right? And I made the front
Hmm.
page of Reddit. My next goal after that was to get published in a major media outlet without ever uh
Like
without
directly seeking it out, right?
yes, exactly. I never hit an ad for myself, nothing like that. I wanted to see if my work on its own merit can get exposure by a major media outlet, and I did. I got published in Petapixel, The Bored Panda, SLR Lounge, My Modern Met. Well, that was the one I was really happy about. That's not easy. And I got in all, and there's been a few more DIY photography I got into. And I hit that goal when my Lord of the Rings came out, and that one did really well too. And yeah, so I mean, it's just like it's you want to make sure your goals are small and just kind of incremental, make them go up a little bit more until just keep going. And obviously I want to keep going with my stuff. My next project I'm working on it is very large, very, very, very large. And
Yeah,
I'm really
and you've
hoping.
been kind of like putting like small hints of it, right, on your social media, right?
Yeah. With the flying boat thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So so talk about like how long does it take to create the scales, or like what would you call them? I know you're not toys when you're building them, but what would those be called? Like so that boat. What would that?
Well, that's a kit. That's a model kit. But like
Okay.
the grassland, they're called dioramas.
Oh, okay. Dioramas. Like, how long does it take to build a world?
It can
I
take
guess it
me.
varies on with a project, but
Yeah, I mean, it can take me anywhere from a week to a couple months. So it really just depends. Like my Lord of the Rings took me 3 months to make that. Um,
Do you have trouble creating these worlds and also juggle your personal life, or do you kind of have everything set to a schedule that you're like comfortable with, that you're used to, or?
yeah, it doesn't, I mean, it's how I spend my free time. I'm not a big drinker or anything, and I don't go out, and I just do it all in my free time. Like when I'm not at work, at home, and my kids are, they're out doing whatever, I'm at home working on this stuff. So it's not if it was my full-time job, I would be, probably get this stuff done a little quicker, but it's just when I can.
is that kind of like your, I guess, like a dream almost would to be to have this full time, or do you think it would almost feel as if like you're back in the wedding videography days, or do you think this is something that you can maintain for like a longer period?
It would, if I've had a lot of discussions about this. If money was more of a motivator for me, I could probably make a living off of it. I've had discussions with other photographers in like with what I could do. Like for example, like let's just say the Wizard of Oz, for example. Maybe I had a Dorothy outfit in my here, and I could like come get your picture, your daughter dressed up as Dorothy, for $75 or whatever, and I'll throw her in the Wizard of Oz picture and make her look like she's part of this world. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Right.
If I wanted to do that, I'm sure I could, but I don't really want, like I said, I don't really care about money really that much. So I don't do it. But yeah, I mean, it'd be sweet to make a living off of it, but I don't really, I don't know. I've had a couple offers too. Like I had a couple people in Chicago talking to me about some things, but I just kind of like, nah, I don't.
So, do you ever get burnt out doing it, or like, are you since you do it in your free time, it's not like you're stressing yourself out by like, oh, I got to get this project out, like, or do you feel like you have a good pace with it to where you're not getting burned out?
Yeah. I mean, a little, I sort of get burnout kind of like when I get toward the end of the project, when I hit complete on the project, I normally don't ever want to look at the project again. I'm like, all right, like, yeah, like I took my Lord of the Rings stuff. I was like, I don't want to look at this stuff ever again. Like I just spent the last 3 months day and night looking at this, and I'm kind of over it. But I would say not burn out of the entire thing, just burn out of the project.
Which part do you enjoy more, like building the world or like putting it all together? Is it almost like two separate things?
I enjoy it all.
Enjoy it all?
Yeah, every single step of the way. The beginning aspect, I would say, is probably the least because I'm just trying to figure out how to do it, and that's just more tedious, like very small, minute things that aren't really that fun. But
right. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. Yeah, man. So as we're kind of getting close to the end of the episode here, and we kind of end our episodes off with like some words of wisdom. So like, what would you tell a young Nick who's wanting to get into the world of videography or photography or anything like that?
Well, it's a lot of practice. It's I don't know about you guys, but like when I dive into something, I dive full hog into it. Like when I went to wedding videography, like me, when I was in business with my brother, it became an obsession. It became a lifestyle. Basically, it was just, how can we get better? How can we advance this thing? So if if filming is your main deal, it's just constantly learning how to, to get better, it's nonstop. Like I don't know. For me, it's just if I want to learn how to do something, it's a part of my life. Like it's not just a side thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best advice, but it's just I don't know. Like
Well, I think like
I don't like half-assing anything. So
Right.
it's like that's just not me. And like like when you asked me about the film thing, it's just like toward the end I felt like I was half-assing it, and I was like I don't
wanna
want
half-ass
to.
it
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't want to half-ass it. Like when I put out something, I want to be 100% happy with it, or at least like 99% happy with it. But yeah, and just
And
toward the end, I was yeah.
And then,
So
like, I think the big thing is, like, there's no such thing as, like, well, I guess there is in some cases, but there's no such thing as, like, overnight success. Like, you're not going to pick up a camera and automatically be who you are envisioning to be, you know? I think
right.
it takes from, like, years and years of grinding and learning. Like, you know, you started off with wedding videography and built up the skill set, and then you moved into photography and you worked on all these projects. Like, and that was the thing of, like, never giving up, you know, like, all right, so I might have had a mistake on this. Let's fix that and make the project bigger. So I think it's just like that constant grind is something that that I think someone could take away from like what you were just talking about. You know,
Well,
like
with even like the overnight success, even if you do like for like Nick, you know, like he woke up or he posted that picture and then his phone started blowing up, and Nick, and you're doing a fantastic job at just keep releasing, you know, top quality stuff. I think that's a lot of mistakes people make too. Like they might have like, you know, 30 seconds of fame, but there's somebody just as good, if not better, right behind you. So you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep doing something just as good, if not
Yeah.
better than the last project.
That's that's a good point, and that's kind of what that's also what I wanted to say is just like not settling. Like I don't know, like I never just wanted to settle. Like this is good enough. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you want to make sure that you're completely happy with it, and I don't know. I spend a lot of time looking at. I don't know. Maybe most people don't. I don't know. Like studying like photographers who I like a lot. I'll sit there and study their photos and just like movies. Like how do they do this? What is it appealing to? Why is it so appealing to me? And what part of this? What's it doing? And just try to just use that as inspiration.
Oh, dude, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I think half of my day is just like watching all these people I follow, like behind. Like my favorite thing to do is like so if I go to the movie in the theater and like the next thing I do is like try to look up all the behind the scenes and the interviews and all that stuff and just try to get educated on the process of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
But yeah, I mean, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. It was a blast to hear your story. Is there anything you're currently working on now that you want to promote? Anything you want people to check out?
no, not really. Like my Instagram, Flying the Donut. That's usually just I post to my story quite a bit when there's anything worthwhile to state, but that's about it.
And then you have you do have prints available, right? Like or where people can buy some stuff from you.
Yeah, on my website, nicholasbushphotography.com, I sell prints there. I sell prints at Fine Art America too. I don't really make any. I mean, I don't really get much of a cutback or a piece of that, so I don't really ever promote it. But all my stuff's on there too.
Yeah, we'll make sure to link to everything that you have out there. That way, people can check out your work because it's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, so
Nick.
hopefully people like it, continue to like it. But it's all, thanks. So yeah,
I'm sure they will, and I just really want to throw out there the steps that you were talking about on, like, you made yourself these little steps, and then you started landing those goals, and then you made a new step. That's very important for people in this industry. They need to like have these goals, and once you hit that goal, don't settle, keep going. And Nick, you're a beautiful, beautiful example of success. I mean, and I know it's only going to continue to grow. When I first met you on No Reply, I was blown away by your professionalism, and then your work with your cinematography is absolutely amazing. This photography you're doing is absolutely amazing. You actually did my most recent headshot, which is the best one I've ever had. You are absolutely fantastic at what you do, and everybody here in the film world is looking forward for you to come back. And you're busy with your photography right now, and I think everybody respects that. But we're all excited to work with you again in the future for sure.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, if that right project pops up and that feels like something that's right, I will do it.
All right, well that ends the episode here of Indie Social. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Make sure to follow Nick on all of his social medias, and we'll see you next week.